Irish yogurt's Clonakilty. Try a spoonful of delicious.
You're making a raspberry and white chocolate cheesecake.
Yeah, so this is kind of like the American style. It's the baked cheesecake.
Yes.
So previously with you, I would have made, you know, the set cheesecake set with either a gelatine product or a chocolate. So this morning we're making a lovely baked chocolate cheesecake because I think this just might be nice and Moorish for the kind of the midterm break that's fast approaching. So there's a bit of business to it, so I'm going to start straight away. If I can just show people really quickly, I've just cut strips of parchment paper and I'm just going to use those to line a buttered springform tin. So I've used a 9-inch, which is a 23-centimetre tin, OK? Then this is the Blue Peter moment. You need a piece of paper large enough to fit the bottom of the tin.
Yep.
Fold it in half, then fold it in quarters with your finger along the centre of the middle line. OK, as it now is, fold it down into quarter, just like so. And then what we're going to do into a little triangle, point that triangle into the centre, and where the centre meets the edge, just cut it or tear it, and you should end up with not 8 little triangles, but the circular piece for the bottom of the tin. Listen, I'm like the culinary Mary Fitzgerald.
Mary make it do.
Yeah, absolutely. The other lady with the Kilkenny pedigree. Now, then what I've got is I've got 12 ounces, 350 grams of biscuits, which I've just crushed. OK, so I've just used some digestive biscuits, and I'm going to put then about 3 ounces, which is 75 grams of butter, which I've melted into that. So once that goes in there, I'm just going to mix that all around. So I have a little bit less butter than you would normally have for the set cheesecakes, because obviously in this instance, the kind of the baking of the cheesecake is going to help you to solidify the base a wee little bit there as well. So give that a light little mix around, OK, and then I'm going to pour all of that into my cheesecake tin, just like so. And then what I'm going to do is, using a potato masher, I'm just going to press all of that down so that we get a nice level base on that cheesecake.
Would you always use digestives, yeah?
No, I don't. Sometimes I make a lemon cheesecake and I use ginger nuts with it because I think that flavour of the lemon and ginger works very complementarily. I've said to you on this recipe, you could use ginger nuts, you could use chocolate chip cookies as well. Or, you know, if you had half a tin of biscuits, you could kind of use a mix and gather them. Now, in here then what I've got is I've got some cream cheese, OK? So I've got about 500 grams of cream cheese, and I'm going to put in 300 mils as well of this lovely high-protein strawberry live yoghurt from Irish Yogurt Clonakilty.
Oh, lovely.
So pop that in. So that has the lovely strawberry flavour, which will help you off. And again, of course, because it's high-protein, it's so good for your gut health as well, which we've all become very enthused with in recent times. Now, just whilst all of that is happening, you can see here I have melting some white chocolate, so it's just coming up. You were laughing, I was beating the white chocolate there just before the break to make sure that we have that melted in time.
Is that just the steam, the water bubbling underneath?
That's the water bubbling up underneath it. And can I just advise viewers and yourselves when you're making this, you see I've got a bowl that sits on the top rather than sitting down into it, because you don't want the base of the bowl touching off the water, because that will kind of cause too aggressive heat. So it's just sitting on the top, and that's now melted. Here then what I've got is I've got 4 eggs, OK? So I'm just going to beat those 4 eggs with a little bit of vanilla extract, OK? And then I'm going to add all the other bits. So the yoghurt and the cream cheese is in there. Just make sure that that's nice and smooth. And then what I'm going to do is I'm then going to add some sugar. So I've got 9 ounces, 250 grams of sugar. I've got about 35 grams of corn flour, which will act as a setting agent for you. And then I'm going to pop in my eggs, just like so. OK, so that's my 4 eggs. So all of life's good ingredients. You couldn't get better. Then pop that on down again. Give that a nice little mix around. OK, so we're just going to give that a nice little mix. And then the final thing I'm going to put in to this is just a little bit of the white chocolate, bearing in mind that when we put in the white chocolate, it could have that capacity to curdle. So you need to kind of act nice and swiftly with that. But you can see it's quite liquidy at this stage, and perhaps much more liquidy than the normal set.
Why would it curdle if it's not hot?
If it is hot, what will happen is you don't want the chocolate to solidify in there. So if you put in the cold chocolate into that. So I'm going to take a nice big balloon whisk here. Just going to make sure I've got all the bits from around the sides.
So people might be freaked out at the consistency because it's a cheesecake,
Absolutely,
but don't be.
100%.
But don't be.
Don't be.
Yep.
Proceed with caution. Now, into that then I'm going to put in my lovely white chocolate. You can see that's really nice and smooth. So pop all of that in there. And then with my balloon whisk, I'm going to, oh my God, I told you, didn't I tell you at the start, this was Moorish.
Oh my God, who's getting to lick that bowl? Don't put things in them, someone's going to lick that bowl.
As per. So you see now that's nicely incorporated. So it's the kind of the swiftness of action is essential.
Can you explain that to me again? So it has to be
in with the chocolate and then mix it straight away. Okay, go straight away.
And it needs to be warm, obviously.
Yeah. Don't start kind of doing the Instagram reel at this time.
Exactly. Okay, great.
Put in a selection of fruit. Then I've used some blueberries and I've used some raspberries here as well, whole, and just in at the last minute, you can see I'm just barely going to combine those in. Okay, and there we go, just like so. The last little raspberry out there. There's a rogue always left, isn't there? And then into our cheesecake mixture, and that's going to go into the oven.
That looks even delicious there.
It looks
I literally want to go over and get a spoon.
I probably should leave a little bit of that bowl as well.
Yeah, I literally want to go over and get a spoon. How long does that go in for?
Now, that goes in for quite a considerable time. I have the oven set at 150, 300 or gas mark 2, and that's going to go in there for about an hour, okay?
Oh, right.
A good hour is what you want to give that. And then the resultant mixture is this, left overnight. So I baked this obviously last night when I was coming up to you. And then what I'm going to do, just to garnish that up, I'm just going to put another tiny little bit of our lovely yoghurt on there. That's from Irish yoghurt. Give that a nice little rub around, just like so. And then what I've got is I have a little tiny bit of jam, okay? And I'm just going to give a few little blobs of jam over the top.
And then with my knife,
I'm going to just give it a little rub. This is cheesecake now on speed, or cheesecake with speed. So I'm just going to put a few little berries on the top, just like so, and a few of our little blueberries over here. Because I always think when we see fruit on the top of anything, can't we convince ourselves that it's nice and healthy?
Sweet mother of divine.
And a little bit of fresh mint.
Will just cut it and give us some? Come on, we're waiting too long.
Now, okay, cut it up.
Look at that.
And there's our lovely
That
cheesecake.
is
well, now
stunning.
listen, you could get it a little bit more beautiful if you spent a little bit of time just on the top of it. So time will permit. Now, Alan, what I will caution is a nice thin sliver for yourself, because it is very heavy. And that's the beauty of this recipe. So once you have that made, it will feed absolute loads. So think about it maybe for a little soiree that you might be having at home. It's gorgeous. Or if you want to be very posh for the trick-or-treaters.
Try this.
So it's absolutely
Look at
lovely.
that, it's absolutely beautiful.
It is a really nice recipe.
As always, thank you so much. That is absolutely delish.
The perfect bank holiday weekend treat.
Thank you, Edward.
I want you to make one of those each.